streams at least. And of course, the second semi-finals, which will be played a little bit later, that I know the majority of you are going to be looking forward to, Luminosity Gaming versus Cloud9. Moving on from that, I mean, looking at where these teams and how they've got here, ENVYUS have had a pretty easy time getting it, to be honest. They beat LG, I should say, CLG, a bit of a play on words there, 3-0 in the end. And then they got a forfeit against Street Hoop, which was a bit unfortunate. We were going to have one more game the other day, but unfortunately that was roster issues, I believe. I'm not too certain about that. But and then we got CODE7 as well. So CODE7 had, once again, a bit of an easy time against the Colorado Clutch guys, yeah. And that was another 3-0 defeat. And then against Northern Gaming Red, it was a bit closer. The scoreline does say 3-1, but Northern Gaming Red did put up a hell of a fight, actually, from what we saw. And that was the last game that we covered last night. Last night for us. I think it might have been even time for you Americans over there, but yeah,
yeah, and that has set up our first semi-final, which is going to be ENVYUS against CODE7. On the other side of the bracket, we've got Luminosity Gaming, who came out in a nail-biter against Nubris, and Cloud9, who kind of strolled through one shot. Unfortunate for them to get matched up against Cloud9, who is such a strong team, but that's going to make for a fantastic semi-final as well. And because this is single elimination and we have to decide who gets what in terms of the prize, there's a $5,000 prize, of course, put up by iBuyPower and the beautiful sponsors. This event, of course, brought to you by Intel, along with a host of their other lovely sponsors from iBuyPower. But this other semi-final, the losers from both of them are going to go into a third place decider bronze match, and that could be the game of the tournament, actually, given the teams that could possibly be in there. I mean, you'd expect Luminosity and CODE7 to be in there. That's a real battle for second or third, well, third place it would be in this tournament, but CODE7 putting in a very good shot at the moment for looking like one of the top teams in North America, possibly contesting that top 2 spot, but it's going to be super difficult for them to get past ENVYUS, and that is the game that we're going to be bringing you first. But before we go into that, before we take a look at either of those two teams, I want to give a mention over to the giveaway that iBuyPower are running, because that's a fantastic thing that you guys can get involved with while you're just sat there in chat memeing away. It's a global giveaway by iBuyPower and their lovely sponsors. You can win an Intel PC, which is fantastic, some gaming monitors, desktop, and that's free for you guys to enter. If you go and visit the iBuyPower website, you can scroll down on the Twitch page and find that. And that's that would help us out a lot if you go and visit those guys and see what they have to offer, because it looks pretty sick.
Absolutely. So speaking of these teams now, we do have the semi-finals going to be played today, as well as the lower bracket finals, and finally the grand finals as the big daddy match. And you know, who knows that's going to be against. But the first match we're going to be covering is the ENVYUS CODE7 game. A lot of people, I think, would predict ENVYUS to be the ones on top in this engagement, but what's your opinion here, Sideshow? Do you think today is the day that ENVYUS are going to be dethroned from their top spot, or?
This should be an absolute whitewash for ENVYUS. If you look at their previous history, I mean, you have to say they're the most dominant team in the world at the moment in Overwatch, and certainly in North America. They've just been stomping through people of recent form. I think they're on something like 37, 38 won games in a row, and the last time they lost was back in June, I believe, to Reunited on a European server in some, I think it was like a Gosu Gamer Weekly or something. So they've just been on fire for so long, it's utterly ridiculous. They're approaching real like IDD, QD levels of dominance over the scene. So if anyone's going to upset them, it could be CODE7 here, who've been on a real hot streak recently, blasted through Northern Gaming Red yesterday. It could be Cloud9 or Luminosity, whichever one of them make it to the grand finals. But looking just based on the stats, you've got to put ENVYUS here.
Yeah, on paper, 100%. We're going to be seeing ENVYUS to pretty much come out on top here. We can take a look at some of the rosters as well for ENVYUS right now and see what they've got in their lineup. I'm sure you're all very familiar with the players that ENVYUS have. We see Temu, the fabled DPS player, and Twitch chat extraordinaire. I always see him in there. Tailspin as well, an absolute nutter when it comes to Farah. Internet Hulk, Coco, Chips Hagen, and Harry Hook. So these guys, they're in a bit of a gaming house situation, aren't they, as well, which does attribute to their chemistry that they've got together.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, just the top players at the scene at the moment, as we mentioned.
Yeah, they certainly are. They've got some kind of team chemistry and individual skill that hasn't been replicated on any other team at the moment. They've just got phenomenal supports that are also able to come out with the DPS abilities whenever required. So Chips will normally stick to support because they have that solo support at all times. I haven't seen a team run a composition without a support, but Harry Hook there, we've got him down as Lucio because that's what you will normally see him as, but he plays a mean Soldier 76. Yeah. He's famed for kind of, in previous games, he's played at the top level of TF2 before this, although he took a fairly long break from the scene, and his hit scan aim and overall DPS abilities are just fantastic, and so that gives them so much flexibility as well to run that solo support, and the rest of their team's coordination is just excellent. Coco and Internet Hulk as well have great chemistry on the tank off tank flex rolls, so it's just one hell of a team, and it's really reflected in their map stats as well. If you take a look at that, it's unbelievable. Look at that overall win percentage. 93% of their recent games won.
Do you think that's, going back to a bit of on Harry Hook, do you think that's a requirement of teams nowadays in Overwatch, that they have these players that can play the DPS roles as well as the supports? I know that falls into the flexi role to a degree, and you see them really falling back on Roadhogs generally, but do you think that teams need to be very malleable in their hero picks and what they can play to be as successful as Envy?
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it brings up a kind of a wider topic that we could go on about for ages. You've really opened up a can of worms there with that question, but certainly if you build a team for a particular meta, you're going to have a bad time as soon as some new patch comes out, because kind of, especially when it comes to something like the primary support, which has been on Mercy for a long time now, if a hero comes out like Ana in the next patch, or Zenyatta gets a buff or something, and you start to see kind of different supports taking roles, you might see players that have been famed for their Mercy skills and even directly picked up for their Mercy abilities that haven't had that ability to branch out and be as flexible. But certainly ENVYUS have got a ton of flexibility on their roster, and it's reflected in their map percentages. Just fantastic stuff. Let's take a look at their challengers today then in this iBuyPower Summer Invitational, brought to you by Intel. It's gonna be CODE7. You might have seen them playing under Gale Force Esports recently, but they have been on fire. If they manage to take down ENVYUS here, it's going to be a huge upset, but it's also going to be the crowning glory of what has been a fantastic run for them ever since they left that organization. It's just been incredible to watch CODE7 just drastically improve over the last few weeks and make a really good claim, actually, for being the second best team in North America. They have a long way to go before they can be classed as the best team in North America, though, or even cement their position as second best, because Cloud9 still up there.
And I like their playstyle as well as a team. They really do emphasize a lot on Harblue picking up a lot of these kills with his Roadhog. He is well known for his Roadhog. It's one of his personal favorites, and they do have the DPS to back him up as well. It's not all just the Harblue show. They have some incredibly capable players. Shake as well is an excellent Mercy from what we've seen the other day. Nicholas on his Pharah is absolutely nutty in the right circumstances. He's been hitting air shots left, right and centre. So it's really just not that single player, even though he is the only guy with the picture. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the map stats from CODE7. Don't expect them to be as good as ENVYUS is. They are sat only on 51%, but their recent form has been excellent. They managed, of course, to knock out Northern Gaming Red yesterday in the quarterfinals and breeze through Colorado Clutch. They've had some upset results recently as well against teams like Cloud9 and Luminosity, so they're on fire. We'll see what they can produce against ENVYUS, but I do believe that the map bans are about to start, and interestingly, CODE7 haven't had any games recorded on these 2 CP maps, the stats taken from OverGG, so thanks to them as well. But the map bans, that could be a way of getting down to ENVYUS here. If ENVYUS don't ban out those 2 CP maps, we could see them in the map pool. They've taken out Kings Row and Route 66 straight off the bat. CODE7 banned Numbani and Volskaya, just kind of... ENVYUS are pressuring CODE7 here into banning out those 2 CP maps and the ones that are sat on the fringe, like Numbani. ENVYUS reply with a ban onto Hanamura as well. Dorado, of course, banned here because ENVYUS are so excellent at the map. So we'll see what we end up with in this 5-map pool.
Yeah, no surprises being that the Assault map's going to be the ones to be banned as well. But it's going to be the first pick as Lijiang Tower. King of the Hill can be a bit shaky for CODE7. ENVYUS, they're pretty much comfortable on almost every map these days. But Watchpoint Gibraltar going to be the second pick, a fan favourite, a player favourite as well. It's one of the most scrimmed maps that I know of. They've definitely all got a lot of practice on it. Hollywood as the third pick, which we can see. I know ENVYUS are brutal when attacking into Hollywood first. They seem to be able to just unlock it like no team can. And finally, we see the last two maps going to be Nepal and Ilios, with the tiebreaker from Nepal as well.
Right, this one's going to be interesting then, because we have 3 control maps in the pool. One picked by CODE7 to start us off on Lijiang Tower, and then we have Nepal and Ilios to end it. So we've got an interesting map pool here, all 3 of the control points. We haven't seen that so far in any of the games, although all of the 2CP maps have been taken out of the pool, 2 by ENVYUS and CODE7, sorry, ban out Volskaya Industries. So this one's going to be interesting. I think ENVYUS are going to excel on these control maps, but CODE7 did put up a really good fight on Lijiang Tower yesterday to take Northern Gaming Red out of the situation. And they've been looking fairly strong on Hollywood as well, so there's potential here. Even if they can pick up a map, it will honestly be a big achievement, because ENVYUS have been that dominant at the moment that a map here would really be good for CODE7. It sounds crazy. We're in the semi-final, and we'd be applauding them if they were able to take a map, 2 maps from ENVYUS, but no team has been able to do that recently. I think the last one was Northern Gaming Red in the Beat Invitational, were able to take 1. I think they lost 3-1 or something like that. But this is the kind of level that ENVYUS are at. You have to set the context for this match. ENVYUS are by far and away the most dominant team at the moment.
It's very reminiscent of, you know, if we look back in the CSGO scene when it was first starting out, it's very reminiscent of Ninjas in Pajamas when they were on an absolute insane win streak. And we are going to be going into Lijiang Tower as the first map, King of the Hill. Some teams don't like King of the Hill, mainly because it is one of the newest sort of game modes that was introduced into Overwatch. So, I mean, but they have had plenty of time to practice on it, so they should be pretty comfortable. But this is a map that players can be prone to getting basically booped off the edge. I think you called it the boop map. The
boop map, absolutely. Yeah. Tailspin is on that Pharah, so he's going to be starting things off by just jumping up in the air there and setting off his concussion blast, seeing if he can knock people off the bridge. Interestingly, if you look at the team compositions, we've got Talk here on Tracer as well, and that hero is so powerful on these control maps, can do a lot of work, and ENVYUS have opted not to run one at all, instead having Tailspin on the Pharah. The Tailspin is just going to jump up in the air there, get the concussion blast off, nearly knocks Hardblue. He's forced to use his jump in order to get in there, and Internet Hulk is going to be the one engaging. Has done a lot of damage to that shield, and everyone from CODE7 is kind of clumped up in this house. Shake gets moved off the edge as well. Shake is desperate, trying to find somebody who's going to save him. JKW comes to his rescue, just peeks his head over that edge there, and we haven't had any frags go to either side so far. They're both just feeling each other out, but it's ENVYUS with all of the position, Brett.
Surely we're going to see some kills now, and indeed we do. Nicholas finally finds the first kill onto Tamu again, so that's a Reaper v Reaper fight there. 1 DPS going down now for the side of the ENVYUS guys, and already Nicholas picks up a second one, and it's a critical one at that. Chips going down means no Mercy and no Resurrect to work off. They've already picked up 3 more kills on top of that. Make it 4 as Hardblue has finished up Harry Hook, JKW onto Coco. And that is going to be quite a conclusive fight. It was looking a bit scrappy. It was looking a bit patient in some areas as well, as they were waiting in that house area. But eventually we see CODE7 taking the advantage so far.
Yeah, even though they were clumped up in the house area, they weren't taking the same damage. They were just really nicely using the different walls to juke the damage around. Internet Hulk going to be engaging once again for this second fight, and the sound barrier has been popped off for ENVYUS. In comes a barrage as well from Tailspin, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. Picks up the frag onto Shake as well. That's a Resurrect out of the picture. JKW and Nicholas both fall, and all the frags are going the way of Taimu. Coming in there as Reaper and destroying souls.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous engagement there by ENVYUS. They knew exactly what to do. Tailspin right onto the back of Shake, picked up that Mercy frag, and that's exactly what they needed. And they just knew they could engage as much as they want, as they didn't have a Resurrect. But now we're going to see CODE7. They're looking to get some frags, they're looking to get some kills, putting in the damage. We see it's Hardblue, I should say, on Winston. He's going to pop off his Primal Rage now. Here comes the Graviton Surge. It's connected onto 4. Do they have the damage to follow it up? That is the question. And yes, they do, Sideshow, but it's going to be followed up by the Resurrection now, as ENVYUS look to try and take it back, but it's too late now. Nicholas, he pops off his Death Blossom. He's already picked up 1 kill. Hardblue follows it up onto Taimu. Tailspin, one of the last men standing. He tries to take the kill, but it's too late now. CODE7 pop off their Resurrect, and they are healthy little chappies there. Every single player is currently up, and they are waiting and holding on that bridge area.
What a play from Talk to come in with the pulse bomb at the end, and then as soon as the res came up, Nicholas had timed it perfectly with the Death Blossom, takes out 2 and makes sure that they do a ton of damage to everybody else. But now ENVYUS with the exact same strategy, and the Graviton Surge comes out, captures 2 of them when Tailspin with a barrage is going to 4-on-4. What a ridiculous quad kill there from Tailspin. Just perfect ultimate synchronization. And it's like ENVYUS lose a team fight in a real scrappy engagement with lots of ults used, but then they just take back the fight in 2 seconds. Their offense here on the first stage of Lijiang Tower has been excellent. Every time they're knocked off the point, they are able to re-engage so easily.
Yeah, we see Harblue now. He's trying to get the initiation straight into the hope. He's knocked off Shaken. I don't think Shaken can get back down. No, he's actually going to be falling down, so that's the Mercy out of the fight. But at the same time, we're going to see CODE7 picking up 2 quick and easy kills onto Tamu in the end. So that's 1 DPS player down. Torque has finished down Coco as well. So really, once again, this is going the way of CODE7 as they're getting kill after kill, frag after frag. Primal Rage being popped off is trying to knock off Tamu off the edge of the map. He's on a sliver of HP. He is eventually going to go down in the end. And still, this fight is being contested on the point this time. It's only 3 members of ENVYUS left alive, but the spawners are just about to come in Tailspin. He's hovering above. I think this cap is potentially going to go the way of CODE7. They've got 5 on the point. Tailspin, he knows he has to back off here, and he's going to wait for his team to look to re-engage.
Torque is doing a ton of work in all of these engagements. Really great Tracer play from him. I haven't seen much of him on Tracer in recent games, but he's been absolutely fantastic here so far. And let's see whether ENVYUS can repeat their success again with the Samurai. But this time they get cut off in a Graviton Surge. He pops off the shield as well. But everybody from ENVYUS is taking a ton of damage. They push back at this time. Their offense is not going to be able to engage properly, but they have the frag onto Nicholas, and the barrage comes in from Tailspin. They're lacking any kind of damage to take him down, and every one of his barrages are being able to be so successful because CODE7 lack the ability to pluck him out of the air.
And look at that series of ultimates just absolutely destroying CODE7 in the end. They could not do a thing. There's only 5 seconds left. Harblue, one of the last men alive, is going to try and leap in to contest a point, but he gets knocked off in the end by the Primal Rage from Internet Hulk. So ultimately, we're going to be seeing the first round of Lijiang Tower, the first round of the first map, going to be going the way of ENVYUS in a very, very close engagement, Sideshow.
And I think one of the big reasons that ENVYUS were able to take that, despite the fact that they won a fairly even amount of team fights, was that whenever ENVYUS were holding on the point, they made the defenses last for much longer. So when ENVYUS decided to attack, their offense was lightning fast, and they were able to wipe CODE7 really quickly and take control of the point again, which keeps the time ticking up. But CODE7, when they attacked, it took them much longer. The offense was much scrappier. They were having to expend a lot of ultimates, and all that does is, even though they win the team fight in the end, it just keeps the time ticking up for ENVYUS. And so eventually, even though they won the same amount of engagements, they lost overall on time. In this stage, though, Nicholas has decided to make the switch over to Pharah, so it's Pharah v Pharah on this one.
Yeah, and both teams, they're going to start to spam each other out, basically trying to build up as much ultimate charge as they possibly can. Tamu drops to about a quarter of his HP. He's going to have to back off, but he's actually managed to get the kill onto Harblue anyway. Still 1 kill on both these teams' side now, so it's really an equal man advantage. Coco finds Shake somehow in the midst of all this chaos, so that's going to be no mercy now for the side of CODE7 whatsoever. So they are going to be without heals and really without the utility to take this fight in anyway. I feel like if I was in CODE7 position right now, I'd stop contesting this and try and recoup your losses, but they're going to try to take the fight anyway. It looks like they're pretty confident in it. JKW finishes up Coco in the end. Players are still being knocked around the map as Harblue finishes up Chips Hayden as well. So really now, this is looking incredibly good for CODE7. I think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Sideshow.
Well, I think the key factor there was the fact that Nicholas wasn't being dealt with, and he was just hovering around inside the point. Nobody was looking upwards, and he was pounding down those rockets from above. So put out a huge amount of damage along with JKW on Zarya, and they managed to turn that fight. And it's CODE7 who come out with the initial cap, but they did that on the last stage as well and weren't able to get it. But here comes Nicholas again with the Photon Shield. Tries to get value out of the barrage, but isn't able to. Tailspin plucks him out of the air and gets another one onto the mercy of Shake. And so now ENVYUS in a prime position to retake this point. Joe Meister's been caught out as well on Lucio. No amount of high-speed dodging is going to save him. And ENVYUS again with a lightning-fast offense, able to recap the point, minimize their casualties. It's all damage control for them as soon as they're not in control of the point, and it's only 35% that's managed to be ticked up here for CODE7.
And look at this now, Graviton Surge going to be connecting only onto the one. Nicholas just, well, he is going to pay with his life of it, and I should say as well, Tamu is not, he's building up his ultimate. He does have the Death Blossom available in the team of CODE7. You know, off the back of that, they got 2 ultimates out of that, and they only managed to pick up 1 kill. So I think this is still working out better for CODE7, even though the seconds are dropping down. We see the sound barrier initiation coming out by both these teams, so they're looking to try and take this fight onto the point if they potentially can. Death Blossom comes out finally by Temu. Nutty air shots by Tailspin is going to bring down Nicholas in the end, so that's no fairer for them. A lack of damage on the side of CODE7, and still this fight is being executed in this courtyard area. Finally, we see a resurrection going to be popped up by CODE7, so they're trying to take this fight in another equal engagement, but Tailspin, far too strong, is going to get taken down in the end. The pulse bomb as well brings down Coco. Hardblue pops off his Death Blossom, and they are going to manage to take this fight, Sideshow. But really,
Chips is in! Chips is in with a ridiculous 5-man res. They've been caught in the Graviton Surge on Chips, Harry, and Tailspin. Surely going to get taken down. No, they managed to survive. They have done so well at mitigating these containing ults whenever they're popped from CODE7. CODE7's still going to be able to come into this one and should be able to defend the point, keep it ticking up, and make it just about even. Both teams are 55% now, but it is CODE7 in control of the point. That was an opportunity there. Chips put his team in a great position to recontest, but real heads-up play from JKW to be able to read it and contain most of them in that Graviton Surge.
Yeah, really all off the back of that, and we're going to see Envy. They're looking to take the fight straight to them. Tamu picks up the first frag, Coco with the follow-up. That's 2 players down already, and that is going to force the resurrection a bit earlier than they were anticipating. Tailspin, he's popped off his barrage. Here comes the Graviton Surge, connecting onto 2. Joe Meister has managed to find Tamu in the end, but at the end of the day, Shake has fallen, so that's no heals now for CODE7. Nicholas dies as well, just as he gets the barrage. The pulse bomb onto Coco, but with a flick of the shift button, he is going to be surviving in the end with the photon shield, I should say. And now Envy are looking pretty dominant. They look like they want to take the point. The primary rage popped off by Internet Hulk, but I think they're going to be happy with that one, Sideshow, as they just contest it in the nick of time.
But the fact that CODE7 are now on 96% means that they only have to win 1 team fight. They've done such a good job at racking up that time on the point. Those percentages have been ticking up the whole time, and both teams have been really good at attacking the point and retaking it past the defense. So this could be CODE7. They're trying to engage now. Damage boosted rockets in from Nicholas, but Tailspin has his number. He's chasing him all around the map, manages to get the frag there on the opposing Pharaoh as Taimu comes in and picks up 2, and this is not going to be a successful offense from CODE7. They have one last chance here. ENVYUS' percentage is ticking up into the 90s just about now, and this is the last chance saloon for CODE7, otherwise they're going to be down 2-0 on Lijiang Tower.
This is really tense now. There's only 8 seconds left, not counting the overtime. They're going to try and initiate in Internet Hulk. He leaps in, trying to get the damage in. Tailspin also trying to basically shove in those rockets if they potentially can. Going to be popping off the barrage. It connects onto Shape, and that might be the pick that they were looking for. Envy, they've already picked up 3 kills. The resurrection is not there. They pop it off for good measure. The overtime is going to be popped off, but in the end, it's far too late for CODE7 as Envy are looking to put another round under their belts in the end.
And it looks so good for CODE7 right up until the final moments. They had one last thing that they had to do to close out that round. They just had to win 1 more team fight out of the 2 that they had. And they had the ultimates to be able to do it. They had been able to engage really successfully the previous few times that they had tried, but they just weren't able to do it. ENVYUS bring it out the bag, and in each one of those engagements they get the first pick. Either Nicholas or sorry, not Nicholas, either Internet Hulk or Tailspin were able to get those picks right off the bat, and it just puts them in a 6v5 situation, and it snowballs from there. They are able to win. But now that we're on our 3rd stage here on Lijiang Tower, we'll see whether CODE7 can get back into it. This is map point for them.
Absolutely. Already we see Tailspin taking the initiative, jumping into that high ground. He's got the damage boost from the Mercy as well with him, so he is putting in some significant damage. Hardblue's going to be the first casualty. Nicholas trying to jump onto him, but really it's far too late. They were extended a little bit here, and now it's time for Envy to play cleanup duty. At the end of the day, Coco has managed to find that 1 kill onto JKW. Talk on the Reaper is trying to spam them from the side, but it is going to be a lost fight in the end. CODE7, they know they have to back off from this. Envy are in control of the point, but they're looking to regroup now. Sideshow, CODE7, they get in a positioning and they look like they want to strike back.
Shake's on 95% of that resurrect, and they're getting in a position to engage. They're making their way around this server area, and they look like they want to take the full flank all the way around. Nicholas is going to jump up top, but gets absolutely destroyed by Tailspin. Those upwards direct from Tailspin have been fantastic all game long. Taimu on the Soldier 76 picks off Nicholas as well, so now they have some hit scan DPS to take down the Pharah and make sure that Tailspin has control of the air. He's going to go in again and see if they can pick up Shake and Nicholas. They do fall with help from Taimu, who's picked up a 3k in this fight, and that Soldier 76 is paying off wonders for them.
I really think that, yeah, Tymo on Soldier 76 is one of the driving forces here in this section of Lijiang Tower. That high ground hold, especially when he's being damage boosted right now, you see Chips has got the beam on him. It's absolutely detrimental to any sorts of push. I've noticed they're trying to basically put a Winston onto him in the back, but now here comes the Graviton Surge. The Sound Barrier also going to be contesting it. Nicholas, he's trying to go in. I should say Internet Hulk is trying to go in with his Death Blossom. He picks up 2 kills anyway. It doesn't matter. The Tactical Visor comes off by Tamu in the end. Internet Hulk picks up a third. His Shake is going to be falling. And it's really just like a stack of dominoes, just watching them fall all the way down. Push after push, CODE7 just seem to cannot break into this solid defense that ENVYUS have set up.
Yeah, ENVYUS are just rinsing them here. They've got control of the point and they are never letting them engage. They know exactly where they're going to come in from. And Nicholas is just destroyed instantly. Look at that focus fire. It's just beautiful to watch from ENVYUS. They just call out a target and pick them off one by one. Don't get distracted whatsoever. They know exactly who to focus as soon as the fight starts. And it just works beautifully. It's like a symphony.
Yeah, and we see Nicholas as a last-ditch effort. There's 5 seconds remaining. The Graviton Surge only going to be connecting onto 2. There's still members of ENVYUS on the point. Is actually Torque has managed to get his way around. And there's the Rocket Barrage from Nicholas. Only going to be finishing up Internet Hulk in the end. But here comes the Resurrect now by Envy. One last hurrah. They're pushing him with every single member of the team they have now. It's just Torque left alive. Tailspin is going to meet his end anyway with one of his rockets. And that is going to be the cap for Envy. The overtime is going to be popped off, Sideshow. I believe that is going to be map number 1 going the way of Envy as well.
Wow. Well, that was 3-0. Not a single round taken there from CODE7, despite the fact that the first 2 looked pretty close. And I mean, the second stage was incredibly close from CODE7. They got it down to 92% or something like that for them. This is that 5-man res that didn't actually work whatsoever. You know, play the game. It doesn't always catch the actual highlights, but it was such a heads-up play there from JKW to be able to crush that one. So they win the first map, ENVYUS. No surprises so far, but they are excellent at that control mode. They're the best team in the world at the moment, quite possibly. And so they go into our second map 1-0 up, Bren.
Yeah, and I really think no surprises here, to be honest. You know, we got to be honest. We got to give our honest verdicts. I could be, you know, a good little caster and say, oh, I really think that, you know, they could have taken that one, but no, we do know, as a matter of fact, ENVYUS, they are incredibly strong on King of the Hill. It was going to take a miracle, and it's going to take some really good team play for CODE7 to break into it. But I mean, given what we've seen recently, I'm definitely expecting better results from them in the next few maps at least. But Gibraltar, from what we've seen of Envy in the past on Gibraltar, again, especially off the back of that loss, I wouldn't be feeling too hot right now as CODE7.
No, possibly not. They've really got a tough egg to crack here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. It is a strong map for ENVYUS as well. The previous ones that the team has been upset on, I believe they lost on King's Row most recently. That was the first map that they banned in this map veto process. We didn't talk about that at the time, but that's why they removed it from the map pool. Watchpoint Gibraltar, it's really not a weak map for ENVYUS. They dominate in that hangar area, and towards the beginning of the map on the first checkpoint as well. This is one of ENVYUS's playgrounds. I mean, you could almost say that about every map, but this is again going to be really difficult. As you see us go straight into Watchpoint Gibraltar here, and it is going to be CODE7 on the offense first with ENVYUS defending. So this is where ENVYUS really try and set up a great defense and force CODE7 into the longest time possible. But let's take a look at the lineup they use. It looks like Harry Hook is going to be playing the Soldier 76, and they look like they're using this single support lineup at the moment that ENVYUS are so good at. They have the triple tank setup as well, with Taimu on Roadhog, Coco on Reinhardt, and Internet Hulk on Winston. And it's just so strong from them, because the fact that you've got the triple tank would normally mean that you have like your flex player on there and you lose one of your DPS abilities. But the fact that Harry Hook is just so excellent, he normally plays the support role, normally on Lucio, obviously, like we said before. And he's really good on Lucio as well. On Lijiang Tower there, he does so much damage, as well as being able to dodge around for his team. Really difficult to hit. But the fact that he's such a good Soldier 76 just opens up this strategy for ENVYUS, and they're so strong at it.
Overwatch
Yeah, these little pocket picks that they come out with is always impressive to see. I like the triple tank setup. We see it every now and then. In fact, it's becoming even more common these days. So I think it's a bit unfair to say we see it every now and then. But look at this, ENVYUS. They're just jumping around, looking to get their foothold on the map. Basically holding the high ground on this bridge so far, and they're going to be meeting them head on. We see Talk on the Widow. He's going to see if he can get an early pick off just by grapple trick jumping up onto the map and seeing if he can get a quick and dirty headshot. But the hook does come out by Taimu. Taimu is not going to connect onto anyone, and already we see the team just devolting back into this sort of relaxed, laissez-faire server room hold.
Yeah, they've got a nice spread across the map, making sure that they've got the ability to adapt to wherever CODE7 decide to push from. It's going to be Internet Hulk trying to pressure out that Widowmaker. They're a little bit concerned about Talk. If he manages to pick off Harry Hook in the back lines, then it could really open things up for CODE7 to push that payload a little further. A reminder as well that the timer that we have isn't perfectly accurate, so if the game is really close just at the end, it will go down to an admin decision. Thanks Blizzard for not implementing like a time bank system just yet, but hopefully we live in hope.
Yeah, I'm sure, knowing Blizzard, they will implement that fairly shortly. In fact, this form of Blizzard, while we're on the topic, they are one of the most openly communicating side of Blizzard that I think I've ever seen of them. But Tailspin is going to get that early kill onto Shake there. That's going to be the Mercy down, which means they can't really initiate too much. They're not going to have to resurrect because of that. And already JKW does manage to find that one kill onto Coco. Internet Hulk is on the back lines, trying to find one of these kills. It's a bit scrappy. That's all kicking off in the server room right now, Sideshow. As Harblue has found that one kill, finally the resurrection is going to be popped off here by Envy in the end of all the teams. And now they're going to try and take this fight with a bit more of a numbers advantage. Shake is slowly, in fact no, Shake is just waiting in spawn, waiting for the entirety of his team to die in the end. And there we go, they all fall down. So now they're just going to wait, regroup and repush.
Yeah, they have that resurrect advantage, so if they really push quite quickly here, they can take control of... Oh, unfortunately, actually, Shake has disconnected, so we may be going back to lobby here. We'll see what the admin decision is, but just in terms of this map, taking control of the server room here on the right-hand side from the attacker's perspective makes such a difference to the offense, because you're able to use that as a position to then take the rest of the map from. It's a really powerful attacking area and defensive area, so that's why the teams fight over it so much.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was clocked fairly quickly into the lifespan of Overwatch that was the hold to do, and I think towards the start of it, it's, again, I say this every single cast it feels like, but it is interesting to see as the meta develops and as the evolution of the game goes out, you see the teams like just changing up these holds in little ways, and you used to see them just try and attempt to hold first, but I'm not too sure what we're doing just yet. I think we're going to be playing on potentially. It's all up to the admin's discretion. Shake has disconnected, so they are playing 5v6 as it stands.
They are indeed. I think they're going to attempt to try and get it forward. They say in the game chat, can we pause? Nope, that's not how this game works. Unfortunately, no pause feature in the game. So they're going to be playing on trying to set the time. Shake's going to be rejoining as soon as possible, so he is back in the game. And they're going to start pushing this one forward once again. So that's really unfortunate for CODE7 actually, but because the map had already begun and because ENVYUS had already started defending, they are not able to go back into the lobby and restart the whole map. So instead they just get screwed over a little bit, but they're going to be trying their hardest to crack this defense nonetheless now that they have all 6 players in the map. The hook there almost came out actually from Harblue. He nearly got hold of somebody from ENVYUS, and that could have been what they needed, but they have managed to take control of server room. Nicholas goes down, they trade the frag with Harblue here, and they have busted out, trying to make sure that they can isolate individual players like Internet Hulk. If they can take him down, it'll give them a great opportunity to push the card a little further. They haven't quite, but they have pressured him away a little bit, but Coco's in as well. ENVYUS here just dominating.
Yeah, Talk was trying a last-ditch effort into the back lines. He did manage to reach them, but he pays with his life in the end. And now, I mean, the only silver lining out of that was it was a little bit of a suicide wave. Maybe they could have tried to force out ultimates, which they did indeed. They managed to force out the Earth Shatter, actually, on the side of Coco. So he is going to be without that for this repush that CODE7 are going to work on. And we do have a few ultimates up as well for CODE7. So really, this is looking bright for them right now. They've got the Earth Shatter, they've got the Barrage, they've got the Res, they've got the Death Blossom. They've got so much control over this game, and it's really up to them to see if they can execute it correctly. Already, we're going to see them basically trying to take up this server room. As we we see them, they're rotating around, just exchanging a lot of spam. The high ground still being held, and it's so difficult to crack into. It really is. Internet Hulk jumps into the back, tailspin, pops off his barrage. It's going to be connecting onto 3 of them in the end, bringing them straight down, but the Resurrect is still available, and they're going to choose to use it now into the high ground. Harry Hook is still alive. Comes the Death Blossom. He's going to be paying with his life in the end, and already this fight is looking like it's going the way of CODE7. Here comes the whole hog by Harblue. He's going to be finishing up Chip Salen as well. The Earth Chapter finally going to be popped off by Coco here as he looks to try and control the map, but really there's only 2 of them left alive. Primal Rage is popped off by Internet Hulk, so he is stopping them for the time being, but they're paying with their lives slowly but surely, dying one at a time, and it could be working against Envy here, as they are going to have delayed respawns coming into it. Internet Hulk is going to manage to leap away just in the nick of time, and this cart is going to get pushed around a corner. And what do you think here, Sideshow? Do they have room for another contestant here?
They certainly look like they want to, but Nicholas is going to stuff them straight back in, make sure that they can't come out through this top left-hand side. They're actually going for it. The hook almost hit him as well, and Internet Hulk's going to try and get back onto this one. The sound barrier is popped here from CODE7, making sure that they win this fight, and if they do manage to take it convincingly, which it looks like they are, it'll set them up great for their engagement in the hangar section. But Taimu here with the whole hog is doing a ton of damage. Has pinned JKW in the corner, but it's not enough. Nicholas's help is enough, and they are able to take this one through. 3 players down now for ENVYUS, and that has allowed control of the ship to go to CODE7. And perhaps, as we were thinking, a bit of a misplay there from ENVYUS. It depends whether they're able to re-engage now and take control of the ship back.
Certainly going to try to. Harblue is going to reach out his hook and grab Tailspin from what seems the very depths of hell, and he's going to be bringing Tailspin down. That's going to force out the Resurrect, and I think it was only onto 1 player in the end, so really confidence in their DPS player maybe, and this fight is being taken on 2 fronts as it stands. JKW, along with a whole hook by Harblue, is going to take down a few of these players. Pork with the follow-up onto Coco in the end, and really Envy just getting absolutely torn to pieces. Chip's going to be paying with his life again, and that is pretty much an entire team wipe from Envy there. And what, as you mentioned, it was all off the back of that misplay. When they chose to engage, they were confident they could re-engage and contest that second point, and ultimately it has cost them this hangar stage, which arguably is one of the hardest points to push into.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Internet Hulk and Coco caught behind lines. I believe that was a deliberate suicide from Internet Hulk because he was miles behind them, decided that he just wants that faster respawn rather than trying to battle through the entirety of CODE7. So he's going to regroup with the rest of his team. But Nicholas and Shake have already set up a lot of position so far on that forward balcony area. But everybody from ENVYUS is now up, and this final bend in the turn on Watchpoint Gibraltar, incredibly difficult to crack as well. But here come CODE7. They have a lot of ultimates to expend here. The Rocket Barrage comes in, manages to pick up 2. Harry Hook, Tailspin down, Chips as well. That means there's no res here, and that is almost a full wipe. Now it is a full wipe with Harblue smacking some lead into the face of Taimu, and they're going to try and move this card as fast as possible further forwards because they need to block these players from coming out of spawn. The Diva's out as well from Tailspin, just trying to buy as much time as humanly possible. He gets pinned back towards the spawn door, and the Earth Shatter comes out to try and clear the way from Coco. Is it going to be enough? Our Envy is going to be able to get back into this one. It doesn't look like it, as Harblue's whole hog just clears the area. Oh, but the res!
The Resurrect coming in an absolute critical time. Internet Hulk pops off his Death Blossom, and they picked up the frag, and they've actually defended it, Sideshow. How in God's name did they do that? All off the back of Chip's Resurrect. Really just envious, just pulling it out time and time again. That was a complete team wipe, and apparently it was because Shake disconnected again.
Oh, that's so unfortunate as well, because he had the res in that situation, and really unlucky. The rules do state though that if a disconnect happens after 60 seconds, they can't redo the map. It would be really unfair at this point to deny ENVYUS all of the work that they've put in, and you know, CODE7 as well. But this is really unfortunate for them. They have to try and get themselves in a situation 5v6 with the time ticking down. Blizzard, please, we need a pause feature for moments like this.
Oh no, it was looking so good as well for CODE7. You got to feel for them losing those few crucial minutes, and especially because Shake, if he had popped off that ultimate at that critical time just as they got the Resurrect, just as they got all that team kill, it could have completely changed the face of this game. We could be basically moving into the to the switch sides already, but now Envy, they're going to try and hold this for as long as they potentially can. It's actually going to be the hook straight from across the map is what it seems like by Harblue, right onto the back of Taimu into his cranium. The charge by JKW as well. It's popped off the Resurrection early from Envy now, so they've already forced it off. The self-destruct sequence going to be popped off as well, going to be zoning a few of these players off, not going to be getting any of them unfortunately, but Shake has popped off the ultimate now along with the sound barrier, so really now they're looking in a very strong position, Envy, to recontest this with the increased health pools and shield.
Yeah, there's only JKW around this card trying to push it forward. Tailspin getting a hook off, seeing if he can get onto Chip's agent here, who has got 60% resurrect, but ENVYUS looking really strong on the defense. With only 20 seconds left, it looks like they're going to be able to hold here on this 4th checkpoint. As the time starts ticking down, everybody from ENVYUS is still alive, and they have the mecha live for Tailspin. So this is going to be super difficult, as Internet Hulk as well is going to flank them, and I don't think anybody's going to be looking behind because they're so determined to get on this point.
Yeah, it's all or nothing now. 1 second left. They're going to try and force the overtime. They've got a few of these frags, but I think Chips, he's very close. In fact, he does have the resurrect, and now he's going to be popping it off onto 2 of them. The whole hog has been popped off by Harblue in the back lines. He's managed to find Coco in the end, so really this could be going their way now. JKW is trying to get the pin on Nicholas, also trying to get these kills. Just one man against the world. His team are trying to fight this engagement in the back lines. The overtime's going down. Harblue, you need to get to your team, but it's too late. He falls in the end to Internet Hulk, as Internet Hulk picks up the 3K in the end. And that is, it's unfortunate circumstances, really. CODE7 were looking incredibly strong there.
Yeah, it really was, and you've got to feel for them because Shake's disconnect at the end was so crucial. The fact that he had the res in that situation, and they were really close to getting it. I mean, you got to feel for CODE7 because that probably would have been the final checkpoint for them. As it was, though, the teams know the rules coming into this, so there'll be no disputes. It's just really unfortunate for them, but they managed to cap 3 checkpoints and push the card 88.15 meters. So that is the score that ENVYUS have to beat. It's certainly possible to defend for less of a distance than that, if you know what I mean. CODE7 can definitely beat them on the defense. It's possible on Watchpoint Gibraltar. There's so many areas that they could make that happen, but against a team of the caliber of ENVYUS, it's going to be difficult to stop the momentum rolling.
ENVYUS are monsters, really, on this map. Gibraltar is their playground, as you said before. And I have got to feel bad for CODE7 here. If they were so close to getting a decent time off that, it could have been completely different circumstances had Shake not disconnected. But as we are playing by the rule set where after 60 seconds, if a player DCs, they have to play on. Those are the rules, unfortunately, because we don't have the pause system in place just yet. I'm sure that will be added in fairly shortly as well. But look a little bit at this lineup so far, Sideshow. Tamu on Genji, Internet Hulk on the Winston, high mobility. I see a Tailspin on Pharaoh as well, the pretty standard signature stuff. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this one's going to be super interesting. We've got the Torbjorn out for Geomeister. I haven't seen this for a while, a Torbjorn on the first point of Watchpoint Gibraltar, so we'll see how it works. I mean, they're going to be set up with a similar kind of style. They want to control the high ground up around here, and the Torb Sentry is going to control a large amount of the range, but they are completely giving up server room, so if ENVYUS are able to take control of the server room and start the attack from there, as well as de-seating JKW from his current position on top right, they'll have a really good opportunity to get in, and Taimu's Genji is fantastic.
We see Taimo, he's jumping in, he's got the damage boost, trying to bring down that Sentry. It's going to be the first victim in the end. Tailspin bringing down that one player. Nicholas does manage to take down Tailspin, however, so that's going to be one player down for them, as well as Shake falling to Internet Hulk. So that's going to be no mercy. Coco gets the hook as well onto Harblue, finishing him up, and that is going to mean basically only a few players up now as Tamu going absolutely huge. He's brought down a Sentry once again. Showmeister also going to be falling. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Tamu's not messing around whatsoever. He wants blood, and he wants it now. Sideshow, 3 players up. He gets to deflect off onto Torque, and he's going to be slicing and dicing him away. And Shake, oh, poor Shake. Surely he's going to be meeting his maker. Indeed he is. Tamu going absolutely ham.
Oh, this is just unreal by Taimu. He's picking up frag after frag and putting in an unreal amount of damage onto CODE7, and you can see the power of momentum here. The cart had only just passed through the hangar doors, and they had already pushed it to the opposite side of the hangar, just making sure that they have complete control, locking CODE7 out of the map completely, and this is just a ridiculous time on Gibraltar at the moment. CODE7 are going to reinitiate, though. JKW jumping up right on top, but he was in a 1v4 there, easily gets taken out by Taimu after being helped a little bit by Internet Hulk, who's now going to sync up with Tailspin, and this is just disgusting from them. ENVYUS are so powerful on the offense.
Yeah, we predicted it was going to go this way to a degree, and it certainly has. JKW is waiting for his team to spawn, and it looks like they want to contest in through this left-hand side now, through this hangar area. The cap is almost there. They're going to try and engage now. Primal Rage popped off already. Here comes the sound barrier by Envy as they're looking to try and take any engagement they potentially can. Talk is going to be the first casualty. However, Tailspin has brought him down. Internet Hulk on the back line has found Shake as well, so that's going to be no mercy once again. Temu popped off the Dragon Blade. He's already picked up 2 kills. Harry Hook with the follow-up. Again, Sideshow, absolute destruction coming out from them. This should be illegal.
It's crazy. They have just been storming through the map so far, and already Chipsogen and Tailspin are so far up on this balcony, just putting in those damage boosted rockets onto everybody who's just respawned from CODE7. Oh, but he's got the hook out, actually. Harblu with a really sick long-range hook onto Tailspin is going to take one of their prime DPS players out of the equation. They still, of course, have Taimu hanging around, who has decided to switch his hero off to the Reaper. So just for this last checkpoint, he wants a bit more of some close quarters engagement as they escort this payload slightly further. But this is it. Last chance saloon here for CODE7 on Watchpoint Gibraltar. They have got to be able to defend this one.
They've got to hold it for so long. We see the initiation coming out. Talk picks up the first kill onto Internet Hulk. That might be what they wanted, but Chips is still holding on to this resurrection. So really the fight is not over just yet until that ultimate really gets popped off. Taimu has managed to find JKW in the end. Harblu gets a lovely hook onto Tailspin, bringing down that Pharah player. So that's going to be a lot of damage lacking now on the side of Envy as they're trying to engage, but here comes the resurrection now by both these teams. The Death Blossom by Talk trying to connect onto as many players as possible. Tailspin now finally popping off his barrage. It's going to pick up 2 players. Hawk and Joe Meister going down. Taimu with the follow-up onto Harblu. And really now, once again, Taimu, he's popped up his Death Blossom. That wasn't even his Death Blossom the first time that he was popping off. That was just pure left clicks. And Envy. They are absolutely disgusting is the appropriate word for this. On this map, this is really, truly unbelievable.
Well, they only have 15 more meters to go before they are going to win Watchpoint Gibraltar, so this really, it comes down to this last fight here. It's all or nothing for CODE7 as they try and get things out. It's going to be a chatter here for JKW, manages to get the nice pin onto Taimu, and Internet Hulk takes them out of the equation, but Coco replies and is going to be able to take down Harblu himself. Hops off both of the resurrects here for CODE7 and ENVYUS. So we've got our second phase of the fight with both Shake and Torg taking the Deadeye is popped as well from Tailspin. Not going to be able to get that one off as him and Taimu fall in the backfield. So as the respawns come in, CODE7 look like they might be able to hold on to this one, but they have to deal with Internet Hulk, who's doing such a good job of distracting them. The pin is going to miss from JKW as well. So they've got to be careful not to overextend. If they bleed into ENVYUS here, it's going to be really disastrous for them. But no, they turn all of the frags their way. Great decision making by CODE7 to chase down those final few players and add a little extra time onto their defense, but they still have to hold this one for another 5 minutes and stop it being pushed about another 10 meters.
It's going to be so tough for them. If they manage to do this, it's going to be game of the century. I don't care what anybody says. And here's Envy's initiation now. They're trying to move in. Here comes the sound barrier now as Envy. They really CODE7, I should say, don't want to give it up without a fight. They've already got the 1 kill. And we see Internet Hulk jumping into the backlines. Harblu missing a few of his shots. He is going to connect them finally onto Internet Hulk, bringing him down. But here comes the resurrection now by Chips along with the sound barrier. This is the re-engage by Envy. And really what they need to be careful of, but there's a 3-man Earth Shatter. JKW gets the pin. They've got the damage, but the counter Earth Shatter now by Coco as they're looking to take it by storm. Harblu gets 1 kill, but really it's 3 Envy players now against 2 of them. Harblu has popped off his whole hog. Is it going to be enough as Internet Hulk and Coco have brought him down? But now really, Sideshow, once again we're in this situation where they need to be careful of dribbling in. A beautiful post bomb by Nicholas has managed to take down Coco in the end. So CODE7 once again, they are going to live to breathe another day.
And those clutch situations at the end where it just comes down to a 2v2 on the payload, it favors the defenders so much because they have the respawns right there. They're almost directly on the cart as soon as they get out, and we're seeing a slight switch up here in terms of heroes as well. We've got Taimu on that Soldier 76 trying to put out some more sustained damage. Internet Hulk on the Reaper and Tailspin of course on Pharah. They're going to try and bring this one forward, see if that switch up is going to be enough for them. They've managed to take down 2 already, and they've found the frags over here on this staircase area. I'm not sure why CODE7 were positioned so far forward, but they're getting destroyed for it, and they are going to be able to push it further forwards. There's nobody blocking the point. Torg gets taken down as well, and this is going to be the victory for ENVYUS. They're going to be able to push it as far as is required, and they take Watchpoint Gibraltar. CODE7 just couldn't manage to do enough. That slight overextension just at the end. Harry Hook in chat, apologies.